Welcome in, and today I'm going to describe to you the main character syndrome, or the self-entitlement problem in Marvel Rivals. Now, before starting the video, I will say this. I just watched 4 minutes and 19 seconds into Clouded Rio's most recent video as of uploading this called I've Never Been This Mad in My Life, Marvel Rivals. And it really made me think about a certain few things, which is this video. Also, I just recommend his content. He's probably like my favorite Rivals content creator out there, just on purely his standpoint of saying his opinions, and doesn't give a shit of what other people think about his opinions. Like, he doesn't care about haters. But anyway, the self-entitlement problem, aka the main character syndrome problem, is rampant in this community. No matter if you play the game or not, you're gonna probably have some acknowledgement of it. Now, just to bring up an example, in my ranked games, I've made a lot of videos about these in the very distant past, and when I actually played Rivals a lot in ranked. I just still do now, but not in ranked. But there was a game I had in Emma. I was playing it, we stopped the enemy team before third point, Black Panther convoy map, and it was going very good, right? We had triple support. I think we did have 3 main healers, which was holding us back a little bit, 2 tanks, 1 DPS. Okay, we stopped him before third point. That's very good, right? We stopped him. We're doing good. And then our Emma decides to stand in spawn for a whole minute because we didn't switch to double support. And so what happened is, after she stayed in spawn for a whole minute, we switched to double support. But she still stayed in spawn, was emoting a chair emote outside of spawn, because get this, we weren't the double support that she wanted. There are throwers out there where if you say one thing to them, hey, don't stand into a 1v6 and try to win that because you aren't, they're gonna get pissy about it and start throwing the match on Widow or standing in spawn or just feeding in general, having 30 deaths by the end of the match because they keep jumping off the map. It's been so apparent. There was a whole website based off of throwing for a while there until I think Marvel Rivals NetEase sent like a cease and desist or something like that. And that's just the throwing aspect of the self-entitlement problem and the main character syndrome. You have these people in ranked. No matter what rank you are, there's people like this, most apparent I believe in like higher ranks, but these people always have the mindset of, okay, I need to carry my team for this win. I need to play perfect. My team just doesn't have to be dog shit and I'll win this game. Well, guess what? You're in the rank you are because your skill level. If you're with people who you consider as dog shit, guess what you are? Not even counting if you go into a game of, okay, I'm going to solo carry, I'm going to hard carry my team. You are not playing the game correctly. The game is supposed to be team based, but I guess people don't realize that because, oh, I want to carry. You've heard these big content creators say, oh, you're supposed to carry every game. You are the reason you win every single game. No, that's not how Marvel Rivals works. That's not how really any of these types of games work. You cannot be the solo carry. Sure, are there games where you are playing DPS, for instance, and you have like 10 more finals or 15 more finals than the other DPS, than the other enemy DPS? Sure, you did heavily lift up your team for that game, but that's different than trying to always solo carry every single game, because this is a team-based game. You play with your team, you win with your team, you enable your team. There's a reason most tanks and most supports in this game are team enablers, mostly enablers of DPS. But if these DPS, for instance, as an example, want to say, I want to carry every single game because I'm just better, then the only way I win games is I hard carry, and they keep on losing with a negative win rate, then blame their teammates. That is not a game issue. That's not a teammate issue. That is a them issue. And you have people who, for instance, you have an opinion about support, whatever. It can be any role for this example. Let's say you have an opinion about support. Let's say it's not that well agreed upon. Okay, it's your opinion. Unless you go after someone, it shouldn't really affect anyone. You could say DPS are best frontlining. Okay, it's not really objectively correct, and it's not really a popular opinion, but unless you go after someone and say you're wrong because this, and this is my opinion, the DPS should frontline, then someone should say something about it. But if you try to defend someone, let's say you're defending your own role, for instance. Let's say your role is getting a ton of hate over and over again throughout months and months and months, patch notes after patch notes after patch notes, and you're tired of it. You give your opinion on your role, defending them, try to stop hate from coming their way, and suddenly another person that calls you stupid, tries to badger you, tries to pretty much harass you because you have a different opinion on a video game. And this problem really runs rampant throughout this entire community. I'm really sad to say that because this game is really fun. The devs do make a lot of good decisions, and the PvE game modes are very good. But it sounds and feels like a lot of players in this community play PvE and competitive. Just think of it, okay, I need to rack up these numbers as soon as possible. I need to start stat farming every single opportunity I can. Because, hey, look, I have the most damage. Oh, hey, look, I have the most healing. Oh look, I have the most damage taken and damage blocked. Okay, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things if you lose. If a DPS has 70k damage and the other has 20k, that 20k damage could still be the hard carry of the team. They can still be the best DPS in the lobby. Just because you have good stats doesn't mean you carried. Just because, let's say, a support has, let's say, 20k damage and 25k healing, and the other has 5k damage and, let's say, 50k healing, doesn't mean a whole lot. Either of them could have made a bigger impact in the game. And until people get this, they're never gonna stop being the main character in their own world. These main character syndrome players, if they don't see everything perfect and with a lineup before even a game starts, they're complaining. If one team fight is lost, here comes the forfeit. If their character is banned, if their character is chosen by another teammate, they're throwing. These players, and I'll state this pretty bluntly, are just self-entitled babies. You take one thing away from them and they can't do anything. It's like all of them are one tricks. I know not all of them, but my point still stands. They act like it. If they can't play their Lord animated, I don't know, Iron Fist, then nobody can. That's a real example right there. I saw a video about that in Celestial, by the way. And there's an epidemic of these players, and it feels like there's more and more and more season after season after season because their egos are so high, because competitive right now, and throughout really the history of Marvel Rivals, has been inflated. Negative win rate players can still get to Celestial if they grind out enough games. And these players who peaked back in like season 1.5 Eternity, 1.5 Celestial, these players just have extreme egos, which nobody can even pop because they're so apparent, they're so huge of an ego. They can't fathom ever being wrong, they can't fathom ever making a mistake, they can't fathom ever playing a character that is not on the board. Because if their main is chosen, oh no, it's the end of the world, guys. If they frontline get evaporated, nope, it's the end of the world. If they keep holding W, keep holding S in the wrong times, it's a whole other issue, guys. It's not a them issue, it's a you guys issue, don't you know? If these players make so many mistakes, they don't blame on themselves. They don't have any self-reflection because why would you in their solo player experience? Like, how dare we play in an online game, but it's actually their own solo game right now. If you don't heavily enable them, you're throwing. If you don't use every single resource in your kit, no matter which role you are, you're throwing. If you don't acknowledge them, if you don't respond to every single one of their comments, if you don't heal them in a nanosecond, you're the issue, don't you know? And it's even past the Marvel Rivals game right now. The community in total has these main character syndromes. The entitlement problem. Oh, this creator on YouTube said something, so must be correct. Mostly big content creators since their reach is so out there. This content creator said, this is correct, and this is correct. I'm not gonna do any gameplay for myself. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm correct now. I'm getting my opinions from other people. And there we go. I'm correct. Let me go after anybody else who disagrees. Because in this game, we lost the ability to actually think for ourselves. A lot of people have this. For instance, I talked about him earlier, and he's on my screen right now on my second monitor because, you know, I'm still gonna watch this video. Clouded Rio. He doesn't care if anybody goes after him. He states his opinion and does not care if anybody goes after him. He states it without fear of people thinking of him differently. I'm the same way with that. And we need more people like this who play the game, who have their own experiences, who came up with their own opinions, who came up with their own mindsets, not the pre-established, pretty much factory-made opinions that all these content creators have. At least I would say like 95% of them. The popular narrative that all of them have. If this community doesn't own up to their actions, doesn't live through their own experiences, and if they just stop getting all their opinions from other people, this community will instantly be better. Because this community is currently just poisoning the game. The game itself is 1,000 times better than the community itself, simply because of how the community acts. This game right now, if a new person came in, would be miserable. From the balanced patch notes pandering to higher ranked players. From these big content creators and high ranked players talking to the devs, ignoring lower ranked players' experiences. Ignoring console players' experiences. Ignoring and trying to shift away from the more arcadey aspect of Rivals, which it should be. I'll end the video on this. In this community, stop trying to be the main character. Stop being so entitled. Respect other people's opinions. If they say something, don't disregard that just because of their role. Don't disregard that because it's not your opinion, because I'll just state this. If another person has an opinion, they don't go after you, but you go after them because, oh, this person has a different opinion, you are just an embarrassment of a human being. That is just the safest way to put it. If a person is speaking their mind on an opinion that means a lot to them, and you go in trying to ruin that player's mindset, trying to ruin their mood, trying to have a debate where there's none supposed to be, you are an embarrassment. There's no working a way around that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video. See ya.